Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mark LaPlante for Speed of Light Media, and we're here today to talk about Simplify CloudLab, a new product that helps build, manage, and share your virtual environments quickly, easily, securely. Virtual environments might be for QA testing, sales demos, internal training, pretty much anything you think of that you use virtual environments for. Today I have with us the founder and creator of Simplify CloudLab, founder of Speed of Light Media, Mr. Robert Isaacs. I've been very fortunate to work with him for many years at ConnectWise on the dev team. By far, one of the smartest technical minds I've ever worked with, and share with us some of his insights. And he's actually going to demo the product for us. Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, etc.
Hey, Mark, thanks for that introduction. So like you said, we worked together to ConnectWise. And at the time, I was the chief architect there. And, while I was there, I saw a lot of different teams at ConnectWise. We saw the place grow from 10 employees when I started up to more than 1,000 employees by the time I left. And during that time, we saw the entire life cycle of development from small company to large company. We saw the sales team be built. We saw QA teams be built. We saw, all these different teams that had to work together. And the ConnectWise product and the suite of products at ConnectWise was pretty sophisticated there. So we got a good look at what it takes to build large enterprise applications. And we had to build a lot of that ourselves along the way. So around 4 years ago, I took that experience, and when we transitioned out of ConnectWise, I talked to Arnie about perhaps building a product that could help ConnectWise and other companies like ConnectWise work better.
Great. So that definitely tells us why you built the product. And after I left ConnectWise last year, and I had the opportunity to work with you again, I definitely jumped at the chance. So who is your target audience? What type of companies do you think would most benefit from your product?
Well, when we started, the target company was ConnectWise. It's always kind of nice to build a product with a customer in mind. So, the enterprise software development company was really where this was targeted. Since then, any companies that want to use the cloud and want to better utilize technology, sophisticated technology in an easy way, could possibly benefit from this product. Any company that wants to use the cloud to run labs and computers and share computers between different teams at their company could potentially benefit. But especially companies that work in sophisticated enterprise application development or have to manage a lot of different environments and machines and images. Potentially companies with large sales teams, people who don't want to run virtual machines in their desktop. They want to be able to run in the cloud, but they don't want to necessarily hire a bunch of DevOps people to build environments for their sales staff. Certainly companies are capable of doing that, but they like to focus on their own products.
Yep. And that to me is one of the biggest selling points of this product is you don't have to use your expensive DevOps and cloud engineers to manage your virtual infrastructure. You can have a semi-technical person actually do all that stuff for you.
That's right.
We also have some follow-up videos to this demo, highlighting some of those customers that we have in the sales demo arena, the QA testing area, the internal training area, and even the security training area. So there are videos where our customers kind of do a deeper dive into exactly how they use the product for their specific business. So we'll be excited to share those out as well. For now, Robert, let's see a demo. Let's see this product.
All right, let me jump to it. Okay, here is Simplify CloudLab. This is the main application screen. This is what you see when you first log in. And right here you see a lot of different templates that we have configured in our corporate environment for working on the products that we work on. Let me step back and give you kind of an overview of what this whole application is for. I looked around at the development process and I saw that we had very sophisticated technology and we had very capable developers, but they were busy working on the main application, and we had a lot of unfulfilled needs that just did not rise up to the level of importance to give that to a DevOps developer to spend a couple weeks on. And even if we did, we'd have one thing that could be used for that specific use case. But I kind of envisioned a product that could be used for a lot of different kind of neglected use cases in that environment. So one of those was that we had a lot of salespeople, and they would always need demo environments that were completely reproducible, that were available on demand, that didn't require powerful laptops for when people were demoing in the field, and they could be started on demand, and there wouldn't be old data from another demo. It would be something that was pristine every single time. They also needed a lot of sales environments that were customizable to different types of customers, right? So they had customers that might use their automated remote management tool. They might have other customers that use that tool plus their business development tool manage that were synchronized together. They may have customers that were wanting to view the Exchange integration. So everyone had something a little bit different. And we wanted to support all of these different mixing and matching of technologies in different templates that, in this example, the salespeople could start whenever they wanted to. The main use case, though, in the very beginning was quality assurance. So they had a similar problem. They had a lot of people who had a lot of different environments that they needed to test on, and these environments had to be infinitely customizable, so that you might have a Office 365 configuration on one, you may have an on-premise Exchange configuration on another. You don't want to have your QA people spending hours and hours setting up a Exchange environment just for one-off testing that they throw away or that no one else gets the benefit of. You want the work that your quality assurance people do to have long-lasting value and to be able to be reused over time. You also don't want QA people all working on the same environment together, because the testing details that you put into one environment may conflict with other testing that's done in a different environment. Ideally, you want everyone to have their own environment. Also, QA people need to understand things like, did this thing that I just worked on break in this future version? Did we have a regression? Or if we see a bug, they can go back and see how far back the bug existed. Also, you want your QA people to be able to test upgrades. If you have a customer that's 3 versions back, does the upgrade to the newest version complete successfully? And unless you have snapshots of all those versions over time, you're not going to be able to do that. And they really needed to be able to do that. Also, the training use case was very important at ConnectWise. They would always need training for very specific scenarios, and they want to configure it for each of their different classes. And they wanted to have training classes where all of the different users had their own environment that they could use however they wanted to. And the students in the class wouldn't be interfering with each other. And they would be able to have complete control over their specific instance of ConnectWise. That was their internal training. This was training for people on how to, install the managed product, install the automate product, how to integrate them together. For those people, you don't want people stepping on each other's toes. You want them to have their own environment, and you want those environments to all be the same. You want to be able to tear them down when you're finished with them. If you're using Amazon Web Services, you don't want to be charged for those while you're not using them, and you want them to just terminate, and you don't want them sticking around for months charging you when you're not ready to use them. You don't want the training people to conflict with each other either. When you're telling everyone to go create this ticket, you don't want suddenly 300 tickets that are all identical to appear in a single shared box. So when I took all these different use cases together, we solved all of these problems, but it was always a one-off solution. Okay, we would build, for the developers, we would build the ability to spin up a server on demand in the cloud against this version. And then for the salespeople, they would say, I need this different type of sales environment. We'd have a QA engineer go in there and build that for them. And then, they would have that thing, but then that's all they would have. It wasn't a general tool for all of these different types of scenarios. So about 3 or 4 years ago, before ConnectWise was acquired, I went to then CEO Arnie and I said, I have this idea for this product that I'd like to work on. And we worked it out, and I actually left and I created this product specifically for those use cases. I knew that those use cases were common across the industry, and I knew that ConnectWise had these problems. Other companies have the same types of problems, and I wanted to try to solve it. So this is the product that I built to try to solve that problem, and it's called Simplify CloudLab. And this screen that we're looking at right here is the app screen. It's the blueprints or the templates screen. This is where you build one of those environments that I was talking about. This is where you build your application that is integrated with a very specific third-party component that you want to be able to run whenever you need it. And you snapshot it here, and you have this thing that's available to everyone who needs a copy. So that's this screen here. And the apps as templates are made up of everything that you need to do to run your application or your environment as a standalone unit. So it's made up of networks, represented here, and subnets, which are different parts of your network, machines, the machine firewall rules, the machine types and sizes. We have many different sizes here. The machine image, different snapshots that you have of different available environments, additional volumes, firewalls, like I said, and more. Everything that you could possibly need to run a copy of your application. You bundle all that up into a app, kind of like a template, like I said, and then you can run them. And you can run as many as you want, and you can run them over and over again. So if you click on one, let's click on this one. We're going to start this. Just click Start, and it takes a few minutes, but it spins one of those things up in the cloud. Now, by spin one of those up, I mean it creates what we call a copy. A copy is a running instance of one of those templates. It can be made up of many different sophisticated things. It's not one machine. It's not just a virtual machine. It's the network. It's multiple machines. It's multiple networks. It's all their configuration, and it's the snapshots of the machine configured exactly to work in that environment. So what you're doing is you're not just kind of running VMs. I mean, everyone can do that. You can run VMware or Hyper-V on your laptops. You can spin up virtual machines in the cloud, but the automation to make it possible to graphically define these templates and to build up a library of them and share them over time, that's where the real magic is. So these are the running copies. In this, using this provider, you get a streaming desktop of the different copies as they start, and you can see them boot up. That one booted pretty quickly, and you can interact with them and you can log in. So that's pretty simple. You can see down here you have all the details for this particular machine. If you had multiple machines in this environment, you'd see all the different machines here. And you can also see things like, okay, there's a private IP address associated with it, but there's also a public IP address. So you can make these machines available on the internet, and you can connect to them in all the different ways that you want. You can run them as servers. You can make them available to your customers. You can even, more advanced users can take these screens and embed them in their own applications, which is pretty cool. So one of the important things to consider is that there's really two types of users for Simplify CloudLab. There's the user who defines these templates and who understands the nitty-gritty of networks and subnets and machines and images and all of that stuff. Those users, they're the same kind of users that you would use. They're the same kind of people that you would use in your environment to build these templates or these kind of gold images as we would use prior. They're the same type of people that would build that custom thing for your sales team to use to demonstrate the product. But now they are the same type of people who come in here and they define the templates, but then your QA people, your sales people, you can offer this product to them, and they can kind of start these things as necessary on demand whenever they need them. And as you can see, they're available within seconds. Okay, like I said, the magic of the product is in the reuse, right? You're spinning up templates, you're getting a bunch of different copies. You can build on your existing work. That's important. So say that you have this CloudLab kind of Ubuntu server that I just started up, and you wanted to come in here and you wanted to customize it. So you could bring it up, you could log in, and you could get into it and you can start customizing. And say that you wanted to install some software. I don't know the password to this, but say that you wanted to come into here and you wanted to install some software and you wanted to customize it. You wanted to install a server on it, and you wanted to make that server available, and you wanted all of your users to be able to run those servers on demand. You would make those changes inside of this copy right here, and then when you were done, you would snapshot that. Now, it doesn't matter how many different machines you're running. It snapshots all of them at a point in time that you try to do the snapshot. So you may configure a pretty sophisticated environment here. You may have application servers, you may have databases, you may have desktops that you use to kind of log into to test the rest of the application. And they may all be configured to work together. And then when you snapshot them, they're all snapshotted at the same time into a new app. So let me go ahead and start that copy process. When you make the copy, you can come back to your templates over here, your apps, and you can see this becomes a new app. So in this way, you can start copies, you modify the copies, you can make updates to the copies, you can add additional machines or make different, change it to be exactly the way you want it. And when you have it exactly how you want to template it, you hit the copy button and then you get a new app. So that's nice, and over time, if you do that, and you see that doesn't take very long at all, over time, if you do that, you build up a library of different machine images that you have. So as you use the product more and more, it becomes more valuable. And the value is really in the library of the different templates and copies that you create and use over time. And there's a lot more to this. There's a provider model. We work with Amazon Web Services, which has, it's infinite capacity, scales for forever. It's available on every continent, and we have a lot of different ways to save you money there too. Incidentally, you can do scheduling to make sure that these copies, if you're running an Amazon Web Services, spin down on a scheduled basis, and John will tell you a little bit more about that when you see his presentation for the QA use case. But yeah, so if you're running in the cloud, we can help you save money by automating these copies to shut down maybe overnight to start up during business hours. So the public cloud model is nice, like I said, because there's infinite scalability. You can run as many of these as you want, and you never have to worry about hard drive space or running out of machines or anything. On the other hand, a lot of companies have a lot of specialized use cases where they want to run different types of operating systems that aren't necessarily available in Amazon, or they want the really rich streaming interface. They want access to kind of the nitty-gritty. They want to run different network components. They want different types of sophisticated network topologies. We have our own custom environment where you can run in our cloud, and really, it just depends on what you want to do. There's some cost differences too, which may or may not be important to you. Yeah, so when you look at all this and you put it all together, just the product pays for itself just in the scheduling. And if you can take one of these copies and you're not running it for 24 hours a day when you don't need it, right off the bat, that's going to save you a ton of money. But then on top of that, there's additional benefits that you get from your employees not having to create one-off environments. Your QA people don't have to spend hours configuring something for the specific test scenario that they want. And then a lot of the knowledge that goes into that is shared too when you can bring it into a centralized tool like this and share it with everyone. So that is the demo I had for you today. And now I'll turn it back over to Mark. Thanks.
Thank you, Robert. Excellent demo, and thank you for sharing the background information as well. Please check us out at speedoflightmedia.com. Again, that's Simplify CloudLab, and please check out our other videos, customer spotlight videos, where you can actually see the product in action in a customer's actual environment and with their testimonials as well. Thanks again.